What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Jake here at Nerd Level Rising, and I finally had a week where I got to read as much as I wanted to. I have not been able to do that in a long time. I feel like if you've been watching these updates, you know it's like every week, man. I'm like, oh, it's too busy. I had too much going on this week. It's a slow reading week, whatever. Not this week. We finally got some really good stuff done. So the first thing I want to show off is actually mail. I got this mug from the lovely and wonderful Janie Wirtz. Sent me this. So nice of her. I feel like I've mentioned this before several times, but most of my reading is done first thing in the morning. I have a hot cup of coffee, multiple hot cups of coffee, let's be honest. And I just have a great book. That's how I like to start my day, because I get too busy. If I don't read first thing in the morning, I just won't read, right? So I like to start my day with that. And so now I have a new mug from which I can drink my morning coffee while reading an awesome fantasy book that has an awesome fantasy artwork on here. I hope this focuses well on the camera. We're going to see. But it's got the artwork that she painted for Curse of the Mistwraith cover on here. And oh, how gorgeous is that? It's the resolution is so nice. It is... the quality of this is just fantastic, dude, and dishwasher safe and microwave safe, right? I normally, with mugs that have some kind of design, I usually try to hand wash them anyway, and usually try to avoid microwaving them just in case I don't want to ruin, the design. But this does say that it's safe, right? So you can make your hot tea in here. You can, reheat your coffee if it cools off, because we all know room temperature coffee is the worst, most disgusting thing on the planet. It's got to be iced or really, really hot. My preference is really hot, personally. But anyway, so I'm so excited for that, right? I'll get to use that here now. Okay, let me get into the books. I finally finished this, you guys. I finally finished this. I've been working on this thing I've probably been doing this for like 2 months at least. I don't know. I'll have to go back in the archives and see when I actually started this. Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson, book 3 in the Skyward series. Okay, I've mentioned this a bunch, that I haven't been crazy about this book. That's still true, but I will say the ending was good. I did enjoy the ending. It kind of brought me back into being like, okay, I'm excited to see how this series ends. I do want to continue. I was kind of on the fence. I was like, oh, should I just jump ship at this point? But I'm 3 out of the 4 books in. They're short, so I don't know. I was hoping that it would end well, and it did. I'm really happy with how it ended. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I want to see... Spensa has spent so much time off on her own, right? The first book was very much her with the flight crew and all of her friends and just everything that they're going through together and learning and growing together, and those dynamics were great. And then in book 2, she kind of went off and did her own thing. Book 3, she went off sort of even further and did her own thing. And of course, she met different people in those different in those 2 stories, but it felt very much like she was off on her own, which I think makes a lot of sense. Like, she has to... It's a YA series at the end of the day, right? She has to grow and learn things, and then she can, in theory, come back to where it started now as a different person and see how that dynamic evolves and how she can kind of, go through things there. And I'm guessing that's where this is going to go. I did jump into book 4, Defiant. I'm not going to lie, I'm not crazy about this cover. I don't know why. I just the orange. I'm not crazy about the orange. I like the darker colors in these other ones, the nice cool colors. But anyway, I did jump in. I read the prologue. I read chapter 1 as well. Like, we're just barely started, right? But we're gonna work on that. Hopefully, it doesn't take me until July to finish that one. But we'll see. I'm feeling more optimistic now than I was over the last month or so about the series. So. We'll see how that ends up, and we'll wrap up that series and see what's next as my little bedtime chip away a little bit before I fall asleep kind of book. I got some ideas, but we'll see what feels the best when we get there. Red Star's Madness, the book I'm beta reading from my friend Will, who is a fantasy writer. He did the DM duties for our Booktubers D&D game a while back, and I've been beta reading that. I actually got through a good chunk of that today, I think, or not today, this past week. I think I am roughly 60% through or something like that. So we're making our way through. I'm trying to not... I don't want to rush it because I want to be able to give him some, meaningful feedback. But, at the same time, I'm trying to not take absolutely forever to get through it either. So it's trying to balance that a little bit. But that's been fun. I'm enjoying that. I think the characters especially are what stand out. Like, the characters are really great. So, yeah, I'll have... I'll have more substantial feedback on that once I'm done. I want to talk to him and make sure that he's cool with me sharing some things. He might see this and comment and let me know there, but I won't, obviously nothing spoilery, nothing super substantial, but just like some bigger picture stuff might be kind of cool to share a little bit, maybe, if he's cool with it. Anyway, so we made some progress on that. The main thing here this week, though, this bad boy. Book of the New Sun. Okay. Book of the New Sun. Book 1, Shadow of the Torturer by Gene Wolfe. I've been intimidated to start. This has been on my shelf for like a couple of years. I've been intimidated to start it. I was so worried about it because everyone just talks about how complex it is and how difficult it is to understand and just how weird it is. And I was scared off a little bit, to be honest, which is kind of funny in hindsight because I think about, people say that about Malazan, and I kind of disagree. Like, it's complicated, of course, yeah, but you can follow it just fine. People say that about the Wars of Light and Shadow, and I think that's even easier to follow. You know, it's really not that. It's a book at the end of the day. This is also just a book at the end of the day, right? This was not nearly as difficult to understand as I was anticipating. There's some stuff that I'm still kind of thinking about, letting it bounce around in my head to be like, oh, you know, what does that mean? Or, you know, there are some things that I'm sure are symbolic or sort of thematic things that haven't quite clicked into place for me yet. You know, I'm certainly not going to say that I understood every line of this by any means, but by and large, it was easy enough to follow along with everything that's going on, and I definitely feel like I caught at least some of the little symbolic and not even symbolic, but just straight world building things, and just some of the things that are in here. I'm like, yes, okay, that made sense. I caught that. And so I don't know, but man, the thing that jumps out to me immediately about this book, and I read this entire thing, Shadow of the Torturer, so that's the first half of this omnibus that, I guess, is that an omnibus? I don't know. Contains the first 2 books. Anyway, what stands out to me the most is the atmosphere. Man, it's palpable. It reminds me of like the Esselmont books in the Malazan series. It's just such a strongly palpable atmosphere of just kind of cold and brutal in a lot of ways. I think that those are the words that come to mind immediately for me. You know, we're following Severian, who is training in the Torturer's Guild to become a torturer. And we're sort of seeing his humanity and lack of humanity in the beginning, and we see, and this is on the back flap of the book, it mentions this, that he's being punished by the guild for something that he does, and he sort of has to go out on this journey, and then we follow him through part of this journey, and it's such an interesting story because in some ways. And I don't want to get too deep into this because we'll have a discussion actually later this week because we're doing a buddy read for this. But I think in some ways, there's not the traditional plot that we would expect from like a fantasy or sci-fi book, right? Like there's not like setup and we learn our characters, inciting incident, and we have this build up and there's a battle at the end, or what. Like there's no battle at the end. We're just sort of following Severian as he's doing these things that some of them seem almost random and like, man, well, what was the point of that? And, you know, I don't know. And I think as I sit here more, the more it seems to coalesce in my brain. It feels more cohesive. And so this is one that, just like Malazan, just like Wars of Light and Shadow, I will need time for this to sit in my brain to really have it like form into something, you know? But this is, if you are a Sun Eater fan, okay, like me, I am a massive fan of Sun Eater. I'll tell you what, people complain about Sun Eater being too similar to Dune. Read this book, okay? Like, if you read this, you're Sun Eater's not like Dune at all. It's like Book of the New Sun. Like, it's such strong parallels. It's incredible. The narration style of Hadrian in Sun Eater, this is where he got that from, right? The way that he's describing the events and the way that he, you know, we follow it like a narrative, right? There's the dialogue and the action and the, you know, all the story beats that are happening, all the things. But then we're interjecting with these paragraphs and sometimes pages of introspection and thinking about an idea or about a just philosophizing about something, right? That always then comes back to what's actually happening in the moment. And seems like this is where Rockio got that from, or like there's even things. I won't spoil anything, but there is a very minor point in Sun Eater where Hadrian is speaking to Tor Gibson, one of the Scholiasts, and Gibson is like, he asks him a question, and he wants him to sort of recite these multiple forms of something. I'm trying to be very very vague, but he's asking him to sort of there is a group of ways to think about something, and they're all slightly different, but they have sort of the same end goal. He's like, recite these for me, and which is the most important. And and that's a very philosophical debate for Hadrian in the book, and that's in here, right? The way that this book ends with Severian, the narrator, speaking to the reader, the same way that every Sun Eater book ends, right? It's so cool. It's so cool for me to see that as such a big fan, and just to see the roots of those ideas. I'm loving it. So I'll leave it there. Suffice it to say, I absolutely loved this book. It's awesome. Please don't be intimidated. Just go you don't even have to go super slow, right? Just actually read it. Don't skim it, and you'll be fine. And man, okay, Gene Wolfe, I get it. This is awesome, and I can't wait to discuss this with our buddy read group I'll mention here in a couple minutes. But there was the reading for the week. Clean slate. I actually just finished Shadow of the Torture here this morning before recording this. So what is next? Man, I'm going to keep working on Defiant, keep working on Red Stars, and then in terms of my sort of main read of the week, it kind of depends a little bit. My original plan was to do Of Empires and Dust, the new Bound in the Broken book by Ryan Cahill, but I'm waiting for the physical edition of that, and it's not out yet. So I am patiently awaiting for that, and whenever that's available, I'll try to jump into that as immediately as I possibly can when that's available. But in the meantime, I have some unknown amount of days until that point. So I think what I might do, I'm going to see how I feel when I wake up in the morning. But I'm thinking what I might do is get back to some One Piece. It's been a minute. It's been a couple months, I think, since I read Thriller Bark, and it's time to get back. We have Summit War up next, which I know some people have some very, very, very positive feelings about, at least a couple of the arcs in that saga. It doesn't seem to be as beloved as like Water 7, for example, but some people really, really love at least big sections of that, like Marineford, for example, or so I'm leaning towards some more One Piece, but we'll see. I got some other things that I'm tossing around, but I guess tune in next week and you'll find out what I did. So other than that, my girlfriend and I, as I mentioned, I got her to finally watch Dexter with me, and she is obsessed now, which makes me so happy as a huge fan. We finished up season 2 the other night. We actually sat. We usually, we don't watch a ton of TV. We might watch one episode or something, not even every night. But we ended up watching the last 3 episodes all together the other night. We stayed up late to do it, and I knew what was coming, right? So it's, to me, it was fun to experience it again, but also fun just to see her reactions, and so that was just phenomenal. And man, that show is so fun. I love Dexter so much. That's been great. But we had that. That's about it, right? We'll probably just continue that here this week as well, right? Getting into season 3 and stuff. So that's basically my week, man. I have some cool stuff on the channel coming up, and some cool stuff that we did this last week. Man, it was a fun week. So I was going to do my group discussion with the Red Company guys, with Chance, Bearded Book Beast, and Alex from Iskandaria. And we ended up rescheduling that one just because of some crazy scheduling stuff. Everybody's busy right now, so it was like, hey, you know what? There's no stress. Let's just push it back a little bit. No worries. And we'll get to it soon. So we'll let you guys know when that gets back on the books. But for now, we just still have 2 awesome things. One is on Nikhil's channel, Shelf Esteem. I got to be on his channel as a guest for his show, Shelf Talkers. And man, Nikhil is the man. I really, he's one of those guys where, like, I loved his channel. I watched his channel. I was a fan. Just liked how he talked about books, liked how he talks about just like his energy, and we would talk a little bit in comments, talked a little bit on Instagram here and there. Had him on my channel for that live stream, a few weeks ago. And it's just like instant friends. You know what I mean? Like there's just some people who the moment you talk to them, you're just like, oh, instantly we're homies. And that's what it's like with him, man. So it was such a great time talking to him on my channel. We had to do it again soon and got on his channel this time, and it was just a blast. I could talk to him for hours. It was super, super fun. And we're trying to organize some kind of buddy read or something here before maybe sometime in the summer or fall or something like that. That'd be really cool just to have more stuff to do together, right? So go watch that on his channel. Go subscribe if you're not already. His channel is fantastic. And then another awesome, actually two awesome channels that I got to, I guess, sort of meet for the first time. I got to be on Joanna's channel for an episode of Why Read, which is awesome for me, as like I've been a fan of her channel forever, like way before I ever started my channel. I was a fan of hers, and I've watched a bunch of episodes of Why Read, and I've always loved tuning in and seeing the guests that she had in the conversations there. And I love how she talks about books, and she's been a part of some really instrumental series for me over the last few years, being like Malazan and the Wars, Light and Shadow. Those discussions that she has had with other people about those series, just huge. So that was awesome for me to finally, I guess, sort of meet face to face with her and get to have that conversation with her. For we were there for, I think it was over 2 hours. It was the two of us, as well as Thomas Howell, who has an awesome channel himself. I personally, I even told him on the call, I was like, man, I'm sorry, I haven't seen a ton of your videos yet, but I know it's going to be great just from seeing you a little bit here and there. And so he's on I have so many channels, dude. It's so hard to keep up with everybody, dude. There's just so many amazing channels, so little time. But it was awesome to hang out with him. We have a lot in common. And man, what a fun conversation. So if you somehow are subscribed to me but not one or either of those two, please go check out their channels. Fantastic people. So thoughtful, and just what valuable voices to have in the space, man. I love it. And I was honored to be a part of that episode of Why Read. That was so cool, man. So lots of content to go check out. Other people's channels is always kind of fun because then I don't have to set up the stream and all that kind of stuff. But we got 2 more coming up this week. And we talked about this on Joanna's channel too, and I think on Nikhil's. This is the coolest part of BookTube, man, is just being able to read cool books, talk about it with friends, make new friends, have conversations. Like those are the highlights, man. Those are amazing. So I have 2 more of those awesome highlights coming up this week on Thursday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time, over on John's channel, Talking Story. We have our group discussion for The Shadow of the Torturer, book 1 and Book of the New Sun, our big read along over there. We got a huge group of people. I'm trying to remember everybody who's in the group. I'm going to leave people out if I try to rattle them off the top of my head. I'll leave it for now, right? I think John read it off when I think it was maybe his last weekly reader. I think he read off the whole list of people. So go check out, if you know me, you know his channel, right? You've probably already seen the video, so you know the group anyway. But I'm so excited for that. That'll be awesome. It'll be a ton of fun Thursday evening. And then on Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time, on my channel, episode of NLR Together, I have finally gotten the mental bandwidth and the time back here now that I'm on summer break from the university, that I'm trying to organize more episodes of this and finally reach out to people that I've been talking about getting on the channel for forever. And we finally get David from Four Corners of the Page coming on the channel. He has been crushing it with his channel, just quickly gaining traction, just having awesome videos, awesome conversations with people over there. So I'm excited to talk to him. I was on his channel. Oh man, when was that? That must have been a month or 2 ago at this point. Something like that. But absolute pleasure to talk to. Another just super thoughtful, intelligent, well-read, fun, just everything kind of person. So I'm very much looking forward to talking to him next weekend. And I think that's it. Got some other stuff in the works. We'll talk about that more as it gets closer. But for now, I think that's about it. What a full week, man. What an awesome week. I finally got a week where I read an entire book in a week. I haven't done that in so long, and this has been great. Okay, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up. That helps kind of spread the video out to other people. So I hear, right? YouTube likes it, whatever. Cool. I don't know. Comments, always the best part. Talk to me in the comments. Tell me about your week. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you doing? What are you playing? Are you playing video games? I still haven't played video games, but I'm trying to make time. We'll see if we can make it work. I don't know. Subscribe if you like the channel. That's all I got. I don't know, man. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.